This conference will now be recorded.
The first thing that we need to do is post a station. So this is creation of the weather station. That is what we need to do. Okay, and create station. This is the app ID that we have been using. I think is this the same app ID that I see out here? Then this is your documentation. 6629 045. This is the documentation only. I have it. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is, you know, three simple steps. In the first thing is that create a station out here. So we know that the method that has to be used is post. This is the request body. Okay, and post requires a request body compulsory behavior of the post method of REST API services. The get method does not require a request body. It will also require a request header based on the documentation of the project. And it says that the header should contain the content type as JSON. Okay, and this is the full URI, which contains the base URI and the path parameters of the resources. Okay, and mandatory parameters is the APP ID. Optional parameters, there's no optional parameter. And this is the response that we'll get. Okay, now these are the validations that we need to do as part of your testing is concerned. The validation, the response body contains the external ID as defined in the request body. Validate that the response body contains the station name as defined in the request body. Validation that the response body contains latitude, longitude, altitude as defined in the request body. Validation that the response code is 201. Validation that the response header defines the server name as OpenResty. So if you look at out here, the server name is defined in the response part. If you go to the create a station, right, you can send a response. And the header will contain the server name as OpenResty. You can see this is the response body that you have. Okay, and where the response header defines the content content type as JSON. So if you look at the response header, it also tells you that the content type is JSON. You can see that. So these validations we can do. So what I will do is that I will first create a new project. Okay. And do you have TestNG installed in your system? If not, I will show you. Guys, you have a TestNG installed in your system?
कौशिक मेरे पास नहीं है.
Okay, I'll show you because I will use the TestNG framework with rest assured. So what we need to do is that the first, the very basic step that you require is that you need to go and download, just write down download TestNG. TestNG is basically a API by itself. And this
Eclipse में
API,
मिल जाएगा डायरेक्ट टेस्ट एनजी कौशिक, करेक्ट?
but it does not, see, if you go out here, Eclipse, if you, okay, let me tell you about TestNG first because I think Sunny does not know about that, or probably
Okay.
he knows, but we have not installed it. So it's basically an API which is used for your management of your test cases and test suites. Now, test suite is nothing but a collection of test cases. And there might be situations in which the test suites, there can be n number of test suites, and each test suite can have n number of test cases, or in very automation terms, we call it the test scripts. It is always possible that there are dependencies between test suites, first of all. It is also possible that you have dependencies of the test cases. Okay, and there might be also situation in which the test cases are independent of each other, or the test scripts or the test suites are independent of each other. So in order to create a dependency between test cases and test suits, or independent test suit maintenance or independent test case maintenance, if you try to do this dependency and independency through a manual approach, you have to have an Excel sheet. And if the number of test cases and test suit increases to a considerable level, you will see that it is going haywire. You will not be able to control it. Not possible. So that is the reason that you have the TestNG framework, which will do it with a lot of ease. And your headache is also gone of managing the test suits and test cases, and and managing the dependency factor of the test suit and test cases. Now, apart from that, the TestNG framework also acts as an intermediator to speak with third-party API. So you can use the TestNG API with the rest assured, and also implement the process of creating reports using the extend report API. And all of these can be configured together to create a fantastic framework out of itself. Apart from that, you can also understand that the TestNG framework also gives you reports. So these reports are pertaining to your reports of your TestNG, which are nothing but your technical reports. These technical reports are helpful for the technical guys to understand that your test cases have passed or failed, or it has skipped, and what is the reason of passing or failure or skip. That also you will enter. Not the reason of passing. Reason of passing is never asked. Reason of failure and skip is asked. So these kind of reports are generated with technical reports, and the formats of the reports generated by TestNG are three. One is the simple index.html report. The second one is your emailable report, which you can email, and the third one is your the report generated for the test cases by itself. Okay, these are manager reports and very technically very sound-based reports, and these can be understood with the person who has created the script, or by the person manager who understands technically all this stuff. But up in the hierarchy, they do not like your technical reports. They would like something like your test summary kind of report, which is not possible by TestNG API or framework. So that is why we integrate the extend report API or earlier reporting structure to give you a test summary report with graphs and all. Plus, these reports like extend report and earlier report, which can be integrated with TestNG as well as with your REST API services, REST assured API rather, can also give you a jazzy weight color for reports with logging information and all. Okay. Now, in order to basically use the TestNG framework with your Eclipse, you have a plugin. You can go out here and go to the marketplace, Eclipse marketplace, and the search button is already, clicked by itself. It is going to the marketplace, and let it finish browsing through the marketplace. Then I'll go forward. Yeah. So what you can do is that I do not update this marketplace at this point of time if you are told to update it. Okay. Just write down test ng and click on go button. All markets, all categories. This plugin lets you to run your TestNG test from Eclipse. You can run suits, groups, or individual methods. You can also do grouping of test cases. Let's say certain test cases are pertaining to regression testing. You can create a group of regression. And you can also create groupings for smoke testing and all. These are also possible with TestNG framework. Okay. And mode unit will not use, infinite test will not use, JUnit helper will not use. We'll use the test engine, so you can install it from here. आप लोग शाम को भी फ्री हो क्या?
कौशिक मैं नहीं हूँ एक्चुअली, इवनिंग में मुझे कहीं निकलना है।
Okay, okay. What about weekdays?
वीकडेज में मेरा ऑफिस टाइमिंग कौशिक ऐसी है, 12 से 10 है। तो अगर आपको अर्ली मॉर्निंग करना है 8 o'clock, तो देन आई विल बी अवेलेबल।
अमृत का पता नहीं है मेरे। It may be possible that after you install this plugin, they might ask you to restart your Eclipse.
Yes, Kaushik.
वो आप लोग वीकडेज में कब फ्री रहते हो? वो उनका तो
नहीं,
ऑफिस।
वीकडेज में मेरा ऑफिस टाइमिंग है मॉर्निंग 11 to 6। तो मैं 10 बजे निकलता हूँ, 6:30 को मैं बाहर पहुंच जाता हूँ इफ देयर इज नो मीटिंग। तो ऑलमोस्ट मैं रात को 8 बजे तक रहता हूँ, 8:30 तक रहता हूँ घर में। उसके बाद मैं थोड़ा खेलने वेलने जाता हूँ। सुबह तो मैं फ्री हूँ, 7 बजे के बाद से 10 बजे तक पूरा फ्री हूँ मॉर्निंग।
ओके। जिस दिन मैं अगर वीकडे पे लूंगा ना तो सुबह को ही ले लूंगा फिर।
हाँ, तो अल्टरनेटिव डे में भी आप ले सकते हो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मतलब कंटिन्यूअस लेना थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा। अल्टरनेटिव आप लेना चाहिए तो ले सकते हो। आई एम ओके विद
हाँ,
दैट वन।
मैं सोच रहा था कि वेडनेसडे और फ्राइडे हो तो अच्छा है।
हाँ, नहीं मैं उसीलिए बोला था कि सैटरडे संडे को आप सुबह ले लीजिएगा ना तो बेटर है, हम लोग के लिए बेटर है।
हम्म।
मैं तो रहता ही हूँ घर में, आई डोंट हैव एनी इश्यू।
Okay, you confirm and then it gets loaded. And you can see that it is installing TestNG plugin plus TestNG Maven plugin,
यस।
both. So it will ask you to accept the license terms. Click on accept license terms. Click on finish. You can see in the right hand down installing software 6% is over. So until 100% is over, you should not go ahead. And it might ask you, it might come with a warning. So you don't worry about the warning. Click on OK, and it will ask you for restarting of your Eclipse also.
दिस इज no, this is best because if you have any new updates come for this TestNG or this Maven framework, it auto update your project. No need to download once again TestNG APIs and add to the jar file.
Hmm. So is Wednesday, Friday also good along with Saturday, Sunday? Or Tuesday,
Kaushik, Saturday,
Tuesday?
Sunday is okay. But if you want to take Wednesday and Friday, you are telling, huh?
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
हाँ,
However,
हाँ. Tuesday, then Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday, then Saturday, Sunday. It is okay for me.
for Sunny morning को लेना।
Fine. Yeah. But 8 o'clock for sure, because I have to,
हाँ
like, I
हाँ,
start from, yeah.
8 o'clock to 9 o'clock 1 घंटा ही लूंगा मैं।
Yeah.
हाँ.
That is fine.
So install anyway. Warning is coming. You can see that.
You can send the meeting request one day before and
Yeah.
ping that message like you joined 10 minutes before so that we can join and we can start the class early.
Hmm. So, Sunny and Amrit, do you know about TestNG framework, both of you?
I
हाँ
know.
Kaushik,
Huh?
मेरा प्रोजेक्ट इज टेस्ट एंड फ्रेमवर्क का, तो मुझे नॉलेज है.
Okay. What about Amrit?
Yeah, I know TestNG end to end.
Okay. Now, when you have a framework of your rest assured, no, you can't implement a POM design pattern because it is not a page-based framework. You don't have a page-based API. API is what you cannot, see. You can just develop it and use it with the methods of the REST API services. Okay, let me delete this particular project. And I will create a Maven project, okay, directly. I hope you guys know Maven. What about Maven structure?
Yeah. It's for that automatic update of jars and all, right? Correct version of jars for maintaining.
Yeah. So if you want to create a Maven project, you can go to others. And if you scroll down, you will see the Maven option out here. The TestNG option also comes because of the plugin. And you also have the, where is that Maven plugin? Yeah, Maven project.
Yes.
You can create a Maven project out here. Click on next. Create a simple project and use default workspace location, the same workspace out here. Advanced section, no profiling and template is required. Just click on next. Group ID is very important. You can give the group ID as, let's say, com.rest assured, not training. Artifact ID is the ID by which the Maven project gets created, and it should be unique into nature. Because if you want to upload your Maven project in the online Maven repository like a mvenrepository.com or search.maven.org, it always requires you to have a unique artifact ID. And by the same artifact ID, the project gets created in Eclipse. So I'll give the project name as rest assured. Version controlling you can do yourself 0.0.1. Packaging, what packaging do you need? So these are the packaging required. Jar, war, and all. So you have jar, you have war. POM packaging is not required. I need a jar packaging. Name, the name of the project. So I can give the same name as my artifact ID, the project name. Or I can call this as open weather map. Let's give the same name. Description, I'm gonna REST API services testing for weather station. API of open weather map. There is no parent group ID, artifact ID on which this particular project is dependent on. So advanced section not required. Click on finish, and it creates the Maven. Takes time to create the whole hierarchy. Okay, this is where the test class files are kept, and all the other class files can be kept in this source folder called as src/main/java. Now these are called a source folder, and this is not called as a source folder. This is called a simple folder by itself. Remember it. And this is the pom.xml out here. Okay. And if you look at the pom.xml is right now not totally correct. Okay, you have to give a lot of things out here. So I will define the things that are required. Okay. So first of all, I will show you what are the changes that needs to be done. So let's go to Build tool Maven form. Okay. Packaging is described. Packaging is also not described. It is defining the model version, group ID, artifact ID, version number, name, description. That's all. So let's give something which is required. So I'll have to give the packaging format. I hope the schematic behavior is same. Open 4.0.0. So these are very important. 4.0.0. XSI and W3 org. These are important. W3 org / 2001 XML schema. Instance XSI chemical maven dot porch. Schema. Let me put this, you can put this down also. Doesn't matter. Model version, group ID, artifact ID, version number, packaging. So you can give the packaging out here. Packaging. Jar. Oops. Jar packaging. Okay, after that I need to give the properties. The properties we define the encoding structure. What kind of encoding structure do you require? UTF-8 encoding. So I give the properties tag. And dependencies, I will not be dependent on, definitely by default Maven depends on JUnit framework. Let me tell you that. So I need to create the dependencies myself. So there will be a dependencies tag inside which you can define all the dependency. So what we can do, first of all, I will depend on the test-ng dependency. By default, the test-ng plugin is out there, but still I will give that. And the test-ng dependency, I can get it from the online repositories that are available. Now, Eclipse, I've always told you that Eclipse version is very important. Let me tell you about that. I'm using 4.9. Okay. And this version is 2018-09, and this is the flavor name actually. Okay, and this is the version 4.9. I would request you not to go beyond 4.9 at this point of time because I've seen problems with the latest version of Eclipse. And second behavior is that test-ng, if you look at the main parent website, let's go to the main parent website. The main parent website is testng.org. You go to the download section, automatically it is inside the download. And if you scroll down, you will see that testng Eclipse plugin. It is actually defined in the GitHub. If you open up that particular link and you scroll down, you will see that there's a version called as 6.14.3 of testng. Until this version, so this version of testng supports Eclipse 4.9. I don't know about this particular version, truly speaking, the version of 7.0.0. Now, if I go to the Maven factor of it, let's go to the Maven factor also. So you can go, 1 minute, let me change the battery of my This thing is gone. Let me change it. Mouse का. So this is the current version of TestNG. How do I know that? You can go to a Maven repo. I'll go to mavenrepository.com. If you write down TestNG, click on search button, you will see that the TestNG number of users using it, you can see extensively this one. So this is the TestNG. So it is 7.0.0. But the 7.0.0 supports which version of Eclipse? That is important. So the documentation for the plugin can be found out here. I'll click out here. This is the documentation of the plugin. I don't want a documentation. I want the change log of it. Let's see the full change log out here. So I want to see the change log for this one. So 7.0.0. You can download the plugin. That's fine. But what version of Eclipse does it support? I want to see that. So let's go to the change log out here. It supports Eclipse Photon 4.8 and above. So it will support 4.9 also. Okay. So 4.6.14.3 of TestNG supports 4.8 and above. M2E 1.5 or above. TestNG Maven integration 1.5 and above. So probably you can try with the 7.0.0, but I would be preferring to use 6.14.3 with 4.9 version of Eclipse that I have. Okay, so I will go to the dependency of TestNG and pick up this one 6.14.3 because I've seen it works fine. So this is the dependency. I'll just copy this and paste it out in the dependency tracks inside the dependency stack. So if you see that the format is not correct, you can go to the source and click on format. Should work fine. Yeah, the format becomes okay now. Now, apart from that, it also depends on the rest assured framework. So if you want to have a dependency on rest assured, you can go to the restassured.io, scroll down, and getting started. You can click out here, and these are the dependencies that you need to have. So I'll show you. This is the Maven dependencies. Okay, rest assured, this is the dependency for 4.1.2 version. I'll copy this. Okay, and the dependencies for a JSON path. Standalone JSON path included if you depend on the rest assured artifacts. These are dependency for rest assured. other dependencies or rest assured. Make it easy to parse JSON documents. So for parsing, you need that. We have been using this. So I can copy this also. Put everything inside the dependency stack. And then XML path parsing also we require. So copy this. Then JSON schema validation. If you want to validate JSON response confirms to a JSON schema, you can use this. You can use this also. Right. And Spring Mock MVC. If you are using Spring MVC framework, you can now unit test your controllers using the rest assured mock. Even if you don't require it, tomorrow you might require to test the controller, so better to put the dependencies. And then Spring Web Test Client, if you're using Spring Web Flux, you can now unit test your reactive controllers. You don't need this, but I'm just putting the dependency. Scala support, you're using Scala. You may leverage the Scala support module. Okay, you don't need this actually because you're not using Scala. Scala is made by using the Java language only, and specifically the Scala is used for your big data analysis, specifically for your database binding. Big data analysis, you know that it uses Scala. If you're using Kotlin, then it is highly recommended to use Kotlin extension. I'm not using Kotlin, so I don't need this. If you're using Java 9, you can use this dependency. Okay, so these are the dependencies which are required. Kotlin and Java 9, because I'm using Java 8 anyways. Go to the source and format this dependency. Any other dependency that you want to be implemented. For example, I would love also have to have dependency on extend report API tomorrow. I want to create manager report, so I can have extend report directly. Go out here, and if you see that there is a latest version called as version 4. Extend report is a reporting structure which gives you this kind of reports. You can see the demos. This kind of reports you can see. This is the test case. These are the test cases. Okay. Refund item is a test case, and these are the this is a BDD based feature file. Okay. This is not of importance for you. You can actually implement the BDD framework also to tell you various event standard. We will see the standard reporting structure. So these are the test cases, and this is what you get. A short description of the media test. So it gives you log information also. If you look at here, this is a BDD framework because it says feature file. BDD framework has feature file and step definition files. So it is not a required for you, but I think these are the test logs created. Okay, and this particular reporting structure also gives you screenshots. Okay, it gives you this is a tabular view. You can see the kind of pie chart you will get. Total number of builds are 5, tags 4, 1 exceptions. Okay, build number 1, testing activity, failures, all these kind pie chart. These kind of charts which are required by your managers is what the extend report will give. Okay, extend report supports both Java and .NET. Okay, now version 4 is the latest one. I have not used it, very frankly. I have not actually done a testing out of it, but I've used version 3. Okay, so we will be working with Java out here. Now, there are two versions of it. What is a pro version of version 3 and a community version? Pro version, you have to buy it, and community version, you can use it free of cost. And the difference is defined out here. For example, community version, you can use the extend HTML reporter. This is basically a class which creates reports in HTML format, and it is also used to. It can be also used to your do certain settings. So we'll see that anyways, and both of them supports for standard and BDD tests. So version 3 supports BDD framework, that is Cucumber, for Java, and SpecFlow for .NET. But version 4 does not support BDD with the community edition. Community version of version 3 will support BDD, but community edition of version 4 will not support BDD. You can also add screenshots on failure. Screenshots on every step also can be kept. Okay, add screenshot to the log files also. Okay, you cannot have add a base 64 screenshot. What is a base 64 screenshot? Base 64 is actually a class of Java which is basically used for encryption of your passwords if you require, and decryption of your password. So you can encrypt or decrypt your screenshots also. Not possible in the community edition of 3 version, but possible in the pro version. Append to existing reports. You can actually add earlier reports with the new reports, possible with both the versions. You can see offline reports are not possible with community. Configure view visibility is not possible. Timelines are not possible. Auto save screenshot related to report, not possible. Auto link screenshot to report, not possible. Create custom dashboard sections, not possible. Test display order settings, not possible. Markup helpers are not possible. Code block is possible. Labels are possible. Tables are possible. Card, external link, model analysis strategy is not possible. And it supports extend X reporter with the extend X server. Deprecated, use Clove right now, it is saying. And extend logger is not possible. Extend email reporter is not possible. You cannot email the reports. You can send the reports through email separately. Okay, and this is the last version of community edition for version 3. This is the Maven dependency. Okay, and pro, if you go back to pro, out of stock. Codes are defined out here how to use the extend report. That anyway I will tell you. This is the configuration that is required for community edition. We will use this configuration, and this is the configuration for your pro. Okay, we'll see how to use those, but you can understand one particular behavior that this is the Maven dependency for community edition. If you want to go for pro, then you have to go back to the main website, purchase inquiry, and you can give your name and unpurchase it for the pro version. So whatever Maven dependency that you see out here for version 3 of Java is this is the last version for community edition for version 3. So you can copy this. If you look at whichever is free will be also available in your online repository, that is Maven repository.org. So if you write down out here extend report, Earlier reports are also out here. Extend report together you should write down. It is also called as what is the artifact? Yeah, I'll just copy this up. Copy it. Extend reports. Yeah, it has come here. So 4 versions I'm not using. The last version of 3. These are all community editions, huh? Free of cost. The last version of 3 is 3.1.5. 4 version is 4.0.9. I have not used the 4 version. Let's go to 3, and this is the dependency. The same dependency that you see out here. No, same dependency that you see out here. You can see this. No, nothing else. The only thing it comes with a comment. It is from Maven stock extend reports. Okay. Source, go to, and format it. So these are the things which we are dependent on. Now you have to, now whenever you use this, we also need, apart from dependency, we need plugins. Now what are the different plugins you require? So I'll show you. You also may use log4j, and you might need a dependency for log4j. But in fact, if you even if you do not use the log4j API for logging purpose, you can use the logging concept defined by the rest assured framework by itself. But if you want to use log4j separately, give the dependency, and I'll use the log4j 1.2.17. Log4j 2 series have come, but I have not used it. Log4j, I think 2 series are out here. It's a bit different. This I have used. Nobody uses it because extend report also gives the log information. Plus your nowadays log information is also provided by rest assured. Still, I'll give it if you want. Let's. Okay, so we also required plugins. So the plugin section should be a part of the plugins management tag, and the plugin management tag should be part of the build tag. This is not the complete build tag. So what I will do is that I'll show you the complete plugin, which is better. I need to show you that desktop. I should plug in, should have this plugin completely built up better. Otherwise, you will face problems. I know that. So after the dependencies, the build tag has to be defined. And I'll show you what I have done. The build tag contains the plugin management tag, and it contains the plugin stack, and these are the different plugins. This is the plugin for cleaning. Okay, cleaning is basically used to clean your target folder. There's a target folder out here. You can see the target folder is basically used to keep your results. Okay, so if you want to clean the target folder, you can use the clean command. For that, you need this particular plugin, and this is the version of plugin. Second, you have the resources. Okay, the resources are nothing but your the test and the development resources. So the resources plugin helps out to manage the resources actually. Then you have the compiler plugin. You can see this. The compiler plugin is the plugin where it will be used for compilation of your Maven project. Compilation is a procedure in which the the high level language is converted to a bytecode, and the bytecode is further converted to a low level language. The compiler is needed. Okay, so this is the compiler plugin, and then you have the Surefire plugin. The Surefire plugin is needed to test your um, what do you call us to test your class files, and it is also used to create reports. Now this does not come as a behavior. Okay, you have to create it separately, and the suit XML files plugin tag will be always inside the which plugin? Surefire plugin. Please remember it. So this is one particular behavior of understanding that the Surefire plugin will also define the suit XML files tag. In suit XML files tag, files S, you can have more than one suit XML file. And what is I have defined? The test.ng.xml file. So here I will define the test.ng.xml file. So if I want to create the XML file for test.ng, you have to go to right click to your project, go to test, convert to test.ng. This will create the XML file. Okay, click on finish. Simple XML file, and I want to keep it inside the project. If I want to keep it inside this particular project, then I do not need to give this part. I will not give this part. This will make understand the pom.xml. Pom.xml is considered as the heart of your test.ng, or heart of your Maven. Through this you can control the whole Maven project. So you are telling the POM that my XML file for test.ng is kept out here in the project. Now, if I keep it inside this particular sub source folder, source/test resources, then what I have to do? I have to define this whole path. And then what I need to do? Cut it from here, or copy it and paste it inside this. I'll do the change later on, but I'm just trying to tell you. Let's delete this. Okay, then you have the jar plugin. The jar plugin is basically helpful in creating a jar file. The install plugin is basically helping out in running of the class files plus compilation of it. The deploy plugin will help you out in deploying of the Maven project. The site plugin is basically going to help out in creating your Apache reports. Okay, the project info plugin is going to basically give you the project information on the reports. This is what the build is ending. Okay, now before the build ends, also I'll show you after the plugin management, you need to use this, the resources tag. You can have more than one resource for at least for your rest assured framework. The resources tag. Now for log4j, you need to use a configuration file which can be in .properties, which can be in .xml file. So log4j will be a directory. I can create a directory out here, just a folder. Folder is a directory. I'll call this as log4j. This is where I will keep the inside this log4j directory. I will keep the log4j.properties file or log4j.xml file, which is the configuration for your login concept. So I can go out here, others. I'll create something called as not Maven. I'll go to the general, file, click on next. So it should be called as log4j dot properties file or dot xml file, as you wish to. I'm using a log4j dot properties file. So you're making the POM understand where is the log4j dot properties file, because this has to be understood by POM, otherwise login information will not be created. And login information will be created based on the configuration file that you define out here. And what is the configuration file that I have? I already have the configuration file. I will just show it to you. Yeah, this is the configuration file. You can open with Notepad. This is how it looks like. Dot properties file will always have key value pairs. So this is the key, this is the value. Okay, so I'll copy this. I'll explain you later. I hope you know log4j. If you don't know, let me know. I'll explain you what is this all about. Save it. Now, this is the root logger. The logging will start with debug. Okay. If the login is set to the debug mode, then it will start logging from debug mode. And these are the appenders. So you will appenders means where you want to find throw the log result in the console of Eclipse, in the R, in the HTML format, in the text format. And for console, this is the appender you have to use. Okay, and this is the package where the appender is present. Again, key value pairs. For R, this is the appender to be used. It is fixed in the, if you go to log4j documentation, and this is the package to be used. For HTML, this is the appender, and this is the package in which the appender is present. For TTDC, this is the appender, and this is the package in which the appender is present. Now, every appender, now where do you want to throw out the log information? I want to throw out the R, okay, R-based format of log in my log folder. So that means I have to create a log folder also out here. Folder name is log. I can call this as log info, log file. Then what I need to do, I need to do dot means what? Dot means the current project. Current project is this. Inside this there will be a log files folder. Inside this, okay, okay. Inside this there will be, so if you have an R format of logging, the name of the file will be testlog.log. Okay, and test log R, you can say .log, R based. If you were text based, location will be this. So this is the key. The location has to be kept in log files. And I call this a test log one node ttcc.log. Extension is .log. An HTML format, you can basically use this particular location appender and to be kept in log files. It can be application.html, whatever it is. And this is the pattern in which log information has to be kept. Layout and pattern. So each of these appenders will have a layout. So this is a layout key, and this is the package. So there's a layout and there's a pattern for each of these appenders. console layout, console pattern. The pattern can be changed. Okay. And this is the layout for R. This is the pattern for R. The pattern can be changed. And this is the layout for TTCC, pattern for that. Layout for HTML and pattern for it. Title, HTML can also have a title of the page, and it can also have the pattern. Location info true. Okay, this is the log4j properties file. Now, the log files will be generated in this folder. This folder need not be defined in the POM. You just have to define POM where you have kept the, this is nothing but information about log4j configuration file. Okay, one more thing. Now, for put post, you need request body. The request body can be also called as a payload. Okay, now I can keep the request body in a simple folder. You can call this as payload. Or you can give it a request body only. Now you have to tell POM. So for example, you are telling POM that read from this log4j properties file to see the configuration of log4j. Based on that, you create a log. That is why you're given the resources tag. You also have to tell POM that these are the request bodies. You have to read the request bodies, and based on that, you can fire the put or the post request. So payload will have all the request bodies in JSON format or in XML format as required by the REST API service. You have to tell POM that from where you will get the request bodies for put and post. So this is where to define it. This will be your payload. Maintain the uppercase and lowercase. It is payload with L small only. Save it. Now your POM is completely done. Save this. Now you need to download. So what is POM used for? It downloads these dependencies, these jar files, along with the dependent jar files of these jar files. So this jar file might be dependent on other jar files. So not only will it download this jar file for extend report, other dependencies for extend report will also get downloaded. Now, how do you download it? So what you need to do, this is your project, right? You can go to right click, you will see Maven option cropping up. You just have to go to update project. Okay, and say okay. Which project do you want to update? Okay, say okay. Right hand side corner is updating Maven project, building the workspace. Immediately they see the Maven dependencies have come. The jar files are downloaded now. Just go out here, all the jar files have come. But if you look at, these jar files are perfect. These jar files are not perfect. As in black color. Okay. So you need to go to the build path of the project. Need to see what's happening. Libraries. Test eng is also out here. Apart from the test.ng jar file that has got downloaded, you can see, you can also add the test.ng library. This comes from your plugin. You can add that also, doesn't matter. Now it has come. You see that? Go to order and export, select all, apply and close. Okay. If you still have a problem, what you can do is You can still see in black color. So what you can do is, you might see that sometimes you will see that when you update the Maven project, you will see that, or before that also, you will see that there's a Java problem cropping up somewhere. In the markets tab, you will encounter Java problems, errors will come, errors tab will come. Errors tab will show you Java problems, Maven problems, and all those problems are there. So if you see Java problem, Maven problem, simply what you need to do, I'm telling you these facts. Go to the drive in which you have your OS. My drive is C drive. Go to the users. I'm logged in as Lenovo. I'm logged in as Lenovo. There's a M2 folder. All the jar files that are downloaded by the dependency are kept in this particular folder, M2 repository. Okay. So if you see that after creating the Maven project, or after using somebody else's Maven project, you will see that errors tab will come with a lot of cross signs in Java and Maven. Simply go out here and go to this particular part, and what you need to do, just delete this. After deleting this, you go out here and right click on your project, Maven, update your project. Okay, once you update your project, there will be a percentage shown in the right hand corner, 100%. Then you can see all the errors will go, just for your information. Okay, now our so I can basically create my test cases out here in this folder. So you can create create a package first. Let's call this com dot don't call the main method right now. And remember, all the test cases in the source folder called source slash test slash Java, you are creating your test case class files. So test case class file should end with the keyword called test. So for example, I'm creating a station. This should end with the test keyword as far as your Maven is concerned. If you don't end it with the test keyword, okay, Maven will not run the test case class file. This is called a test case class file now. Maven will not run this test case class file when you fire the command called as Maven test. So Maven test will run the test case class file. And Maven test will not recognize any class file as a test class file if it is not ending with the test keyword. Okay, so always end any test case based class file with the test keyword. Put out here. Okay. Now I will use a test annotation, public void. I'll call this as create station. The red underline comes, you just need to, you don't have to add the test.ng library to it. Import the test from the test.ng. That's all. The test.ng library is already added. Okay. Now you can basically do that. So what I can do is that you have to basically use first the concept of okay, step by step I will show you for create station today. I kept the stuff out here. The first thing that you need to do is that definitely you have to In the last time what we have done, the same thing what we need to do is Google Place if you find it out. What is the first thing that you need to do? Base URI variable. Okay, you have to give the base URI. So if you look at the test ng annotation, this is called the test annotation. The test annotation is predominantly used for writing your test scripts. Okay, so it has non-static method. So you can create a global variable public non-static, and what is the, which is string type definitely. And what is the global variable name you want to give? I want to give the global variable name as that same name. I'll have to change the base URI just of the base URI for create station is, let me close all these things now. It is the create stations. Yeah, this is the base URI until here. So we can go out here, give this as the base URI. And after that, we can call the rest assured classes. There is a static and final variable called base URI. You can see this, whose value will be equal to a string. So this is kept out here globally. From the global variable, this. Rest of the things is nothing but you have to use the given method. Given that I have to use query parameter out. app ID has to be given. Header, it is important to give the header and the body part. So let's pick up this first. The whole thing as part of your test annotation. Okay, given you have to use the import the static method. So I can go and import the static method from here because static method has to be imported statically, manually rather. So you have to use this. And the starting method also will import better. Import the response from the registration. Okay, given the query parameter defines, if you look at the documentation out here, this is a query parameter now. This is the app ID. Copy this. This is the query parameter. No other mandatory parameters are out there. You can see this from the documentation. No other mandatory parameters. Optional parameters are nothing. So given that the header you have to define, the header. Hello, shut up. Or I'm taking class here. Tell them to shut up. So header, if you look at this documentation, the header has to be defined. Okay, in the request header, compulsory. So you have to use the header method. The key will be content type as defined out here, and the value of the key is JSON. That means you are sending the request header as a JSON format, and then you have to define the body. You can define the body directly like this. So if you look at for create station, this is the body. Okay, this is the body. You have to give your external ID. So for example, instead of this, I give for let's say Delhi, I give Delhi its test station. These are the things that I have to define: latitude, longitude of Delhi, whatever it is. So I can copy this request body out here and paste it in the body method within double quotes like this. Everything will be taken itself. All the escape sequence will be taken itself. But this is not a good behavior. That is what I'm trying to say. It should be clear cut. Okay, so that is why you can understand one particular thing is that I will copy it from here. Okay, I have created a folder called as payload. You can see that. So in the payload, I will go out here and create. You can go to others. You can say general, expand the general tab, file. Click on next. I'll call this as create station request body. Correct. And give the extension as .json. Finish. This is a JSON file right now. See the symbol. I can paste the body out here. I can change the body to, for example, Delhi test station test 001, and this will be called as short form. I'll give ND New Delhi, the New Delhi test station. Latitude, longitude, you can find it out. .7, 77.10. Altitude. And 16 meters. Plain cities. Bangalore is higher. save it. Okay, now this body takes, if you look at this body takes a string format. That means this is in JSON format. You have to convert it to a string. So what you need to do is create a public string return type method called as convert request body to string. So first you have to take this JSON file. Okay, how do you convert it? I think I have given it somewhere. It is there. So why to invent the wheel again? You have to basically take this file now. Okay, get property, return post. I'll copy this because the only thing that needs to be changed it out. This has to be non-static. Okay, so you have to pass on a parameter, and let me give all these things. Source format. Okay, so this will convert the request body to a string format. And the return type of this method will be string. You have to pass a parameter of string file name. Now you know that there is a method called as the get property method of the system class. It takes a particular variable called as user directory. This will give you the current project. It will give you the path of the current project. Path of the current project will be defined. Okay, so what you need to do is that you have to return a string value. So return a object of the new string. Use the files class of the java.neo.file. Okay, use the read all byte methods of the file class and use the paths class to get the current path. Current project will come from here, and concatenate the folder. So what is the folder name? The folder name is payload, right? In this folder, the folder name is payload. This is the folder, and then pass on the file name out here. So what this file class will do, it will basically read all the contents from this particular path defined by the path class get method. Okay, so file class will read all the contents of the file from this particular path defined by the path class get method. Okay, from the payload file of the current project. So path current project is a variable which will have the path of the current project in which you are working, and that you get by the system.get properties user directory variable. This we have seen earlier. If you want to see what is the result of this path current project, just sys out. You will see the path of the current project, that is your rest assured open with a welcome. You're concatenating the payload folder with it and the file name inside it. So that file name has to be given when you call this particular method. Okay? And you're returning a string value, an object of the string class. So this method returns a string value. Okay, so this will read all the contents of the files in bytecode format and convert it to a string. Okay, that is what it will do. If you hover your mouse, it will tell you read all the bytes from a file. This method ensures that the file is closed when all bytes have been read, or an IO error or other runtime exception is thrown. This method is intended for simple cases where it is convenient to read all bytes into a byte array, not intended for reading a large file. Okay, so this will basically, and it throws an IO exception, so you have to handle it, import the IO exception. Okay, so what you need to do is that you have to understand that you have to pass on the converted files. First of all, call this particular method, call the convert the request body kept in payload folder to string format. That is what this method does. One minute, guys, for the call.
Kaushik?
Yeah, able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So here this call this particular and you have to give the file name. So what is the file name that you have? The file name is let me save it first. The file name is your what is the file name? Create station. I'll go to rename, pick up this file. Return type of this is a string. So put it to a string variable. Converted body is equal to this. And this has to be passed out here in the body part. That makes it look good also. Hmm. Oh, all these have come together. That's why I also got confused. What is happening? Header is this. And this invokes an exception handle the exception. This particular method being called. Because it is handled with the throws clause. So throws clause will have a tailing effect. So wherever you're using this method, this same exception will crop up. So handle it out here also. So body, this is the body, right? And here it will define body part. Where is that? Oh, this is already defined, right? This URI is already defined. Just define the path parameters with the post. Assert that the status code is 201 and the content type is an external ID. What is the external ID? And altitude equals to 90. Here it is defined as 216. This is the string value. Okay, you can run it right now. So you have to run it from this level now. As a test ng test you can run. So if no exception error comes, that means all the assertions have passed. Yeah, it has passed, you can see. And if you want to use the logging level of, let's say you want to use the logging level of rest assured, then what you can do is you can use log method dot all dot input extra there. So this will basically give you log information from the given, from the when until the assertion is done. This is a log information that is given by the rest assured framework. This is not from your log4j. So let's run it. So these were not coming earlier. You can see these are all coming right now. So if I comment this portion and run it, so log informations are not coming, you can see. If I want to get the log information, just run it from here. See the difference. Console difference. All log information is coming now. What is the status code? What is the server and the response header? And what is the response body coming? You can see this. You can get the log information. These are all pertaining to response header. You can use get, put, post, and delete methods. Okay. So I will send you this I want to stop it right now because my this thing is because I put that patta, it is paining now.
Okay, Kaushik.
I will send you the codes and you try to do the same thing when you see the video.
Yeah. Send video also, Kaushik, today if possible, so that we can do all the same setup.
पूनम को बोलना पड़ेगा, मैं भेज दूंगा, अभी 1 घंटे में भेज दूंगा मैं, उसके बाद थोड़ा फॉलो कर लेना.
ठीक है, मैं मैसेज कर दूंगा.
Yes Kaushik, maybe I'll also.
क्योंकि थोड़ा वो ऑटो कन्वर्ट होता है बाय गो टू मीटिंग ओनली, इट टेक्स वन आवर टाइम, कन्वर्ट होने से इमीडिएटली अपलोड कर दूंगा पूनम को.
हाँ ठीक है. और मंडे का ट्यूसडे का जो क्लास होगा, मंडे को आप थोड़ा पिंग कर दीजिए एक बार.
हाँ.
बस एक बार पिंग कर दीजिए इवनिंग को. विल बी रेडी फॉर द मंडे ट्यूसडे सेशन. ओके, थैंक यू.
हे भगवान, चलो खत्म कर दिए. अब अपना पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी.